everybody, and welcome to Empowered Aging. I'm your host, Dr. Elise Snipes. In this video, we're going to be defining a rich and meaningful life. No matter what age you are, if you still have life in your bones, you can have meaning in your life. By defining your rich and meaningful life, it will help you focus on what you have, what you could have, and how to best use your energy to have as close to the life that you want as you can get. Now, some people are really creative and they will do this with pictures. Other people prefer to do more of a table or a chart, however you want to put it out there. What's important is just to get it written down so you can look at it. You're going to define who is important and what is important in your life. So let's start out with who is important. You are important in your life. So how do you want your relationship with yourself to be? Your family. And you may have groups like your grandkids and your nephews and nieces or whatever. But then there are also individuals that you're going to want to nurture your relationship with. Identify each one of those. If you have pets, then they may be important. What do you want that to look like? And consider what friends you have that are important in your rich and meaningful life. If you're doing this as a vision board, then you want to get pictures or representations of each person or group of people. If you are doing it as a table, then you're just going to create a sheet for each person or group of people. The next thing you're going to do is describe what you want your relationship to look like with that person, with each person, and what you can do to make that happen. If you want a really fulfilling relationship with your kid, for example, then you have to define what does that look like? Does that mean they call me every day, or I call them every day, or once a month? Does it mean that we go on trips together? What does that look like? And what can you do to try to start making that happen? How can you use your energy to nurture that relationship? Now, nothing that we do in life is without its problems. So on another sheet of paper, you're going to describe obstacles that may keep you from having that ideal relationship with that person, and identify ways that you can overcome those obstacles. You can get around them. You can manage them. Now, when you're dealing with other people, you can't always change how they react to things. So sometimes the obstacle is that they're not willing to change, and you're going to have to figure out how you can accept that. The next step is to define what is important in your rich and meaningful life. In order to do things that you want to do, to have energy to nurture relationships, yada, yada, you're going to need to have your health. So what is important as far as your health goes? What is important in your quality of life? Is it important for you to be able to continue to run marathons? Is it important for you to be able to continue to sing or play the piano? Or what is important in your quality of life? In terms of your hobbies, which hobbies are important to you, and which ones are you going to devote energy to in order to help give your life more richness and more meaning? And then there are things, your house, your car, your clothes, your jewelry, any of those things that are important. How can you manage those in a way that's meaningful? So again, you're going to have a sheet of paper or a picture of each one of those. And on that picture or that sheet of paper, you're going to describe what you want these things to look like and what you can do to make that happen. If you want to have good health, then you probably need to eat nutritiously, get good sleep, those sorts of things. If you want to have ongoing independence in your quality of life, what do you need to do in order to make that happen? And just like with the people, we're going to have yet another piece of paper where you describe obstacles to your vision and ways to cope with those obstacles. For example, in my quality of life, I want to maintain independence for as long as possible, but I've got 2 bad knees. Therefore, I know that I need to make some modifications. Does it mean that I'm going to completely lose my independence? No. But I may need to move into a house that's one floor or get a lift installed of some sort so I can get up and down the stairs if I'm in a house with stairs. There are various modifications that I can make to maintain the things that are important in my quality of life. Same thing for you. Each morning, once you have this done, each morning get up and review what is important in your rich and meaningful life, because it's too easy to get up and just go on autopilot and start putting one foot in front of the other, throwing energy here, throwing energy there. Start your day by figuring out, okay, just like your phone battery, you only have so much battery every day. You only have so much energy. So what is important for you to spend your energy on that day? And look over those things. How can you use your energy to move toward those things that are important in your rich and meaningful life? Additionally, throughout the day, when you start feeling stressed or angry, think back to that rich and meaningful life. Think back to those people and things that are important. And ask yourself, is it worth using the energy you could be using to move toward things that are important to fret over this thing right now? Said another way, is it worth stealing energy from the things that are important to give to something that's not important? And by having that rich and meaningful life board or list available to you, it helps keep it in the forefront of your mind. What is really important to me? For more tips and tools, remember to click like and subscribe.